The unmatched benefits of going vegan. The absolutely unmatched benefits of going vegan. Would you like to live a full, healthy lifespan, always be energetic, maintain your best look, feel and be high spirited all the time? Go vegan. Would you like to take no medications, be disease free, avoid surgery, rarely, if ever, see a doctor or be hospitalized? Go vegan. Would you like to avoid cancer, avoid heart attacks and strokes and high blood pressure, avoid Alzheimer's and diabetes? Then go vegan. Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine, in his Hippocratic oath said, "Do no harm, use food as medicine, and let medicine be your food." Translation being, go 100% vegan for life. Next, we have very famous vegetarians, including Paul McCartney, Deepak Chopra, Betty White, Dick Gregory, Nikola Tesla, Cicely Tyson, Mary Tyler Moore, Samuel L. Jackson, Al Gore, and many, 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 many others. Next up, we have very smart vegans, including Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, Gandhi, Stephen Jobs, Rosa Parks, Ben Franklin, Isaac Newton, and many others. President Bill Clinton discovered that the vegan diet would enable him to see his grandchildren grow up and how to avoid another bypass surgery. Albert Einstein said, "Nothing will benefit human health and increase chances of survival for life on Earth as much as evolution to a vegetarian diet." Thomas Edison said, "Nonviolence leads to the highest ethics, which is the goal of all evolution. Until we stop harming other living beings, we are still savages." Vegetarian world champion bodybuilders. How about some very powerful, large vegan animals on the planet Earth? From a biblical perspective, and even God said in Genesis chapter 129, "Be vegan." Read it. We trust you are aware that smoking is by far the number one cause of lung cancer. By the same token, many people do not realize that eating meat is just as bad as smoking in causing death and disease. In fact, eating meat is causing death and disease, is causing cancer, is causing atherosclerosis and high cholesterol. Eating meat is causing heart attacks and strokes. Eating meat is causing diabetes. The good news, however, is that this disease epidemic that we are currently in is preventable and reversible through lifestyle and environmental factors that we control, and especially by going vegan. However, we do need to be clear that eating meat causes breast cancer in women. Eating meat causes prostate cancer in men. Eating meat causes diabetes and high cholesterol. Eating meat causes heart and artery diseases, especially heart attacks and strokes and atherosclerotic plaque buildup. We've got a bone to pick with chicken. So, you thought chicken was safe. What about chicken? Well, first of all, studies reveal that red meat contains carcinogenic, that is cancer-causing agents called heterocyclic amines. Well, my friends, the National Cancer Institute has reported that chicken contains even more carcinogenic agents than red meat. What this means is that chicken carries even more high risk of causing cancer than red meat. In the final analysis, whether you broil, fry, or barbecue, the level of these carcinogenic agents steadily climbs upwards the longer it's cooked.
Most of us have seen this graph of Dr. Burkitt regarding South African populations in 1994. And as you know, the population then was divided up between rural blacks, urban blacks, coloreds, Indians, and whites. And what you have to look at is the CHD stands for coronary heart disease. The rural blacks had none. And then when they became urbanized, they started getting the risk factors for heart disease, namely obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes. And then by the time you moved up the apartheid ladder and got to the colored population, they started getting full-blown heart disease, strokes, and such. And that was sustained in the more affluent populations. Also, you would notice that they didn't have dental problems, osteoporosis, and this is an extraordinary amount of information. Let's move on. So now we have a second graph showing that the rural blacks had absolutely no cases of lung cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer, nor prostate cancer. And as you go up the more affluent populations, then these cancers manifested. I might point out that the rural blacks had endemic hepatitis B in certain areas, must have eaten something hot to get esophageal cancer, and also had some exposure to human papillomavirus, but apparently urbanizing, they had more exposure to that and other viruses. Moving to the next slide and graph, the rural blacks had a paucity or no non-infective bowel diseases, and that includes from hemorrhoids to irritable bowel syndrome to colon cancer. And I might note they had no ulcerative colitis, which you could extrapolate to other autoimmune disorders such as multiple sclerosis, lupus, et cetera, and that might be because socially the environment was less inflammatory. Also want to point out that these numbers also apply to ancient Europe, ancient Japan, ancient China, Native American lands, etc. So you might look at a country, say for instance Germany or England, the rich folks were getting the congestive heart failure, the gout, etc. This is documented, whereas the poor folks who were eating the heartier bread and the more regular food, they didn't get those type of Western diseases as well.
And now we come to the China study, where the data was collected in the 1970s and 1980s. This is the largest, most comprehensive study of human nutrition ever conducted in partnership with Cornell University, Oxford University, and the Chinese Academy of Preventive Medicine over a period of 20 years, involving 65 countries in China and 100 people in each country. This China study finally concluded that countries with a high consumption of animal-based foods were more likely to have a higher death rate from the Western diseases of heart and artery diseases, cancer, diabetes, and so on, while the opposite was true for countries that ate more plant-based diets. We highly recommend that you do more research on the China study and see the other conclusions that were given. Quite remarkable information.
Let's turn our attention to 9 reasons we're not built to eat meat. We can compare ourselves to herbivores and carnivores, and certainly we're more like the herbivores, for instance, the gorillas. The molars are flat so they can grind. The jaws don't open wide, no claws. Our bowel walls are full of pouches so that the vegetables can truly digest, and intestines are very long, and meat could cause putrefaction because of that. Whereas flesh eaters have very short GI tracts, and the meat can pass through quickly, and the bowel walls are smooth, and they have long, sharp claws and jaws open wide, as well as having long canine teeth. Also, herbivores have alkaline stomachs, whereas carnivores have highly acid stomachs to digest meat. Herbivores drink by swallowing, and carnivores by lapping. Herbivores sweat through their skin pores. Carnivores sweat through their tongues. And most of us don't want to jump on a cow and eat it or chicken and eat it when we see a smaller animal. We should eat similar to gorillas. That is, fruits, veggies, seeds, and nuts. Gorillas eat 50 to 60 pounds of food a day. 40% of their diet are dark green leafy vegetables. And one has to realize that you get more protein from dark green leafies per calorie than you do from flesh or meat containing foods.
My friends, we are talking about a plant based diet, vegan. No dairy, no eggs, no meat, no fish, and no poultry. Did you know that humans and other herbivores can actually see the colors of veggies, while dogs and other carnivores cannot see the multiple colors of veggies, giving us further information in terms of a human being a natural herbivore, aka vegan. Here's another slide that is very revealing in terms of obliterating the protein myth. Here we have spinach that has 49% protein in it, and broccoli that has 45% protein in it. And down at the bottom in the box, we see beef has only 25% protein in it, chicken 23% protein in it, and eggs 12% protein. Once again, obliterating the protein myth. Veggies have plenty of protein. To continue, we have kale, almonds, chickpeas, goji berries, figs, and peas that are loaded with protein. Here we have more vegan foods that supply superb nutrition. My friends, we need to understand that the meat and poultry industry generates $1.6 trillion annually to the U.S. economy, or roughly 12% of the entire gross domestic product. This just lets us know that these conglomerates would not deem veganism or vegetarianism in their best interest. Money, money, money. Yes, my friends, medical health care and the animal product consumption have become the largest and fastest growing businesses in the United States. Therefore, once again, we must realize that veganism and vegetarianism would not be so popular at all with these industries. You do the math. Unfortunately, my friends, the so called health care here in America has become suppressing symptoms with drugs, disease management, and crisis intervention. We simply really need to realize that we are currently in an era of a disease epidemic where the healthcare is costing a whopping $3 trillion. 1 out of 2 get cancer, 1 out of 2 get heart and artery disease, and another third get Alzheimer's and diabetes. The good news is that you are actually in control of your health through lifestyle, which is 65% of your health, and 22% environment. This means that you are in control of your health, and actually, statistics show that only 14% of your health depends on genetics and medical care. My friends, the bottom line here is to realize that our healthcare system and current eating habits are missing the target. With healthcare costing $3 trillion, heart and artery diseases and cancers, and etc., the disease epidemic that we're dealing with, and it doesn't have to be. And one of the keys to this is to go vegan. Make no mistake about it. In closing, we encourage you to preserve your health and save the environment. If we all ditched meat just 1 day a week, it would have the same impact as taking 240 million cars off the road. Go vegan. Next, we should understand that it takes 16 pounds of grains that are used to produce 1 pound of meat. Go vegan. In closing, we invite you to save the planet. Do you think you can be a meat eating environmentalist? Think again. There is no planet B. Global warming needs to meet the truth. Please go vegan for the planet and for your health and for your life. Thank you for listening.